What's going on, everyone? Welcome into the channel. Week 6 is here. Felt like a forever long bye week for the Green Bay Packers. Of course, coming off a tie against the Dallas Cowboys, then heading into a bye week. You're just sitting here all week like, come on. Let's just get back into football. And we're finally back. Here we have the Bengals in week 6. Packers head back to Lambeau in a game that should be handled fairly easy for the Green Bay Packers. So welcome everyone into the live stream. Roberto says really early today. There's a reason for that. I don't know if we have any people that play video games in the chat, but Battlefield 6 just came out. So I figured, hey, let's get the stream done a little bit earlier. And I'm going to hop on some Battlefield. I have it preloaded and whatnot. I already went through the queue, but got to do the game preview first, of course, for you guys. So that's why I'm a little bit early as well. Got Bass going live, and now LaFleur wants to have his press conference. Oh, interesting. Okay. I didn't know he's doing it right at the same time. So maybe we'll check Twitter to see if anything comes out via LaFleur. Let me refresh my Twitter here for you. I don't see that LaFleur's having his press conference. Is it at 12 or when is it? Regardless, we're still going to be running this thing. Day in the Life Wisconsin sports fan says, do you follow the Brewers? I do not. I'm not a real big baseball fan. Never really have been. If I had to tie my allegiance to a team, I guess it would be the Brewers. So, is what it is. I don't really follow baseball. I followed soccer in the past. I used to follow that a lot. College basketball was fun back in the day. And now I'm sort of getting into college football a bit with UD, jumping up to the FBS. That's really cool. So, Turtles, what's up, man? Appreciate you coming in. David Gable says, Battlefield 6, I put a bet on Kyler playing bad this week then. Yeah, if he plays. If he plays, I'm sure. Nah, Call of Duty's not out yet, so I'm sure he'll play just fine. It is right now, his press conference. We'll be fine. I'll keep you guys updated if you're hanging out here for this game preview. I'll keep you guys updated as well if we refresh Twitter and whatnot. They're going live now probably in the next 15 minutes. Well, then we better get started. We better get this thing started. It's our game preview. First, let's go over my sleeper picks from last night. And this actually hit. I had a free pick, Jalen Hurts, more than a half a passing yard. Sleeper often offers free picks for primetime games. I had Cam Scattaboo, more than 49.5 rushing yards. And man, he went off last night. He is just so fun to watch. Like, he is so fun to watch. A guy loves contact. I heard the story of him as a kid. He'd put on his brother's football pads and run into telephone poles. And I'm like, you could see it on the field. Like, this guy is so fun to watch. I was cracking up later in the game. Real late, like the last, portion that we're pretty much the Giants had won. His helmet was so dinged up, like way more than anyone else on that field. And Scattaboo's so fun to watch, and he crushed this more than 49.5. I also had Devontae Smith more than 48.5. He actually ended up with 49 yards. So just by the skin of our teeth there with that pick. And then Jackson Dart, a passing touchdown. So that was only a 4-pick play for like $22, but still, it's better than nothing. And if you want to make your picks, it's pinned in the chat, link down in the description. Use code BASS when making a first-time deposit. Get that matched 100% up to $100. And Sleeper is also offering a great promo right now that new users get a free $20 play. No deposit needed. So if you've yet to join Sleeper, you're on the fence, you're thinking about it, you can just go get your free $20 play and make that for the upcoming Packers-Bengals game and be done with it and check it out. So definitely go check that out while it is available. It's an awesome, awesome promo. All right, let's just get into the game preview. Let's dive right into that thing. Big shout out to Sleeper again, pinned in the chat. Also, let me show you guys something that we've been working on, me and a partner. We've been working on a updated merch store. So we have a lot of cool designs. He's made a lot of cool designs. That's the one thing I've been wanting, is someone that can make really, really cool designs. And man, he nailed it out of the park. There's a lot of cool stuff here. I'm going to also have this down in the description. I'll put it in the chat. We have Micah Parsons merch where we have thank you, Jerry on the front, because why not? He made some really cool, like, comic style designs. There's Bane Gary and all this stuff, man. I'm super excited to show you guys, and you guys be able to wear this and have really cool designs. I'm going to order some myself, and then I'm also going to give some away. So I'm going to get some ordered, and then also do some giveaways, free giveaways for you guys. I'll give away some of these merch items. You can even get the poster here. As you can see, the comic poster is really, really cool design. You can get, whiskey glass if you want to thank Jerry Jones with every sip of your Wisconsin Old Fashioned. You can do that. Just added a couple new ones today. He made a couple new designs. Of course, you got to have the Jaden Reed. We go into the Bolbra when he was, I don't know if you guys saw that video, but my internet's giving me an issue right now, but you can kind of see what I'm talking about. There we go. Packers to the Bolbra, Jaden Reed. And then we also have, classic, just a classic, Brett Favre. You think God never farted. So we have all the classics. We're going to be adding more designs as we go through the season and whatnot. And yeah, we'll have a bunch of stuff for you guys. And if you want to check it out, let me get the link for you guys real quick. Hold on one second. Let me do this. I'll put it in the chat. Bam. There it is. There it is. All right. Cool. So there's a link to the merch store if you guys want to check it out, help support the channel, and you can get some cool designs while you're at it. All right, let's dive into this thing. Packers versus Bengals. Packers are 14-point favorites, and surprisingly, 71% of the money is on the Bengals. That's because they're getting 14 points. I mean, the Packers have kind of played down to their competition, especially against the Browns. Even the Cowboys, you could say that with their defense, even though their offense is really good. So 71% of the money being on the Bengals, it doesn't surprise me. Now for the PFF rankings. Overall, the Packers are the 5th highest ranked PFF team. The Bengals are the 27th. As for the defense, the Bengals are the 28th. It's worse than this, I promise you. The Packers are the 12th ranked defense. As for offense, Packers are 5th. Bengals are 31st. That sounds about right. I could honestly think the Bengals are 32nd if we're being honest. Strength of schedule played, Packers 22nd, Bengals 19th. Okay, percentage of run plays. The Bengals, for some reason, pass the ball way more than they should. It's also because they simply cannot run the football, and the run blocking is probably the worst in the league, no questions asked. The Bengals run the ball 31.4% of the time. They pass the ball 68.6% of the time, whereas the Green Bay Packers are a much more even or close to their even running/passing football team. We run the ball 44.5% of the times, one of the highest in the league, and we pass the ball 55.5%. EPA per run, minus 0.1. EPA per pass, positive 0.31. So you can see the Packers have a lot more success passing the football so far this season, and the eye test shows you that as well. The Bengals, EPA per run, minus 0.18. EPA per pass, minus 0.21. They really can't get anything going on offense. And they traded for none other than UD legend Joe Flacco, who has already beat the Green Bay Packers. Now, the last quarterback that has beat the same team twice in a year for two different teams was 1962 Jack Kemp. Yes, former politician, former military, former NFL Jack Kemp. He was on the Lions, a bunch of different teams. He's the last player to do so. Do I think Joe Flacco is going to join him in that list? I sure hope not. I'm a huge Joe Flacco supporter, but at the same time, the Browns have a great defense. The Browns have a run game. The Bengals have neither. They literally have nothing other than maybe Jamar Chase, T. Higgins to say, hey, I'm just going to throw the ball up and see what happens, which could work sometimes. I guarantee there's going to be a couple third downs that Joe Flacco just lost it up to Jamar Chase and he makes a hell of a play, and we're sitting here going, damn it. I'm sure it's going to happen. But is he going to be able to consistently do that? I don't think so. Joe Flacco has statistically been just as bad as Jake Browning. Maybe slightly better, and that's not saying much, but slightly better. I would be worried if the Bengals went and traded for Jameis Winston. I honestly would. Do you remember what Jameis did to us for the Saints week 1, that opener? What was it, like 45 points? Or was it 35 points? I don't know what it was, but I remember I was in Key West, Florida, and everyone went out to the bar, and I stayed back to watch that game because I'm a Packers fan, and I wanted to watch this damn thing, and I remember like sitting there like, yeah, I messed up. I messed up because Jameis is knotting us up right now, and I'm not having a good time. So I would be a lot more worried if they traded for Jameis, but they traded for Joe Flacco. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. Really hoping he doesn't have another win against the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love, on the other hand, has had a very good season via PFF, an 82.6. He's had a 6.12% big time throw percentage, only a 2.72% turnover worthy play percentage, right? As for Joe Flacco, very low big time throw percentage, 2.67, and a decently, middle of the pack turnover worthy play percentage, even though he has thrown, I think, 6 interceptions, 3.21%. Drew says, Flacco beat us. What's up, Drew? Appreciate you coming in. Flacco beat us, but he didn't play well statistically. No, he didn't. The only thing the Browns did against us well is defense and run the football. And then our offense just gave them the ball in favorable situations for them to win that game. And, of course, the block field goal. So, yeah, Flacco didn't do anything against us that made us go, wow, he really beat us. I agree, 100%. But the recency bias and the Joe Flacco PTSD still has my mind wandering a little bit, of course. David says, we love Jameis. Dude, I love watching him play. If the Packers end up moving on from Malik, like he gets a deal somewhere else, I would love to see Jameis as our backup quarterback. I'm not going to lie. Next year. I'm not going to lie. If, Malik Willis gets paid to be a starter somewhere else, obviously the Packers aren't going to be able to pay that money. And Jameis, I feel like could be a good backup on this team. I feel like, he would kind of work. He would kind of work. All right, so the Bengals schedule, we know they lost 3 straight. Vikings, Broncos, Lions. They won their first 2 games with Joe Burrow, had a close one against the Browns, beat the Jaguars. As for the Green Bay Packers, we have that nasty T there as a tie. Won the first 2, lost against the Browns, then a tie. But hey, the Packers, they're still 2-1-1. They're still a winning football team right now. And I think they should improve to 3-1-1 and then be heading to play the Arizona Cardinals there in week 7. So let's get up into these lineups. Let's start with the Packers offense, the Bengals defense. Now, guys, this defense really can't stop anything. I don't really see the Packers having much issue against this defense. There's nothing on here outside of Trey Hendrickson that makes me, or maybe, Dax Hill as well, but makes me sit here and go, wow, I'm worried about this player. Is this Oren Burks? Oh, no. He always has a good game against us, doesn't he? Oh, no. He had that forced fumble on that Eagles playoff game, didn't he? Like, why does this happen, right? Packers have a player that does absolutely nothing. And again, he's probably not even playing that well in Cincinnati, but who's going to be playing well in that defense? But like last year playing on the Eagles, like he was something. He was something. All right, defensive line. We know Trey Hendrickson, right? The only problem is right now, let me switch to this page. Rasheed Walker was a downgrade to a did not participate yesterday. That is big. That is big news. Let's see what he gets today. But if Rasheed can't go, fully expect Jordan Morgan to line up at left tackle, which, to be fair, is his true position. And honestly, I think he'll do a fine job there comparatively to when we've tried to play him at right tackle and either guard spot. I really do think that Jordan Morgan will put up a good game at left tackle if we need to slot him in there. Now, other injury news, we also have Brandon McManus, who LaFleur said is a big concern with this quadricep injury yesterday. But then McManus, after that, went on record in his locker room and said, I plan to kick on Sunday, and joked around about what LaFleur said. And it seems like McManus will be ready to go Sunday, but is he going to be 100%, right? Outside of that, Devontae Wyatt will be out of this game. There's a chance he could end up on IR. We'll see how that goes. Anthony Belton won't be available most likely. And Matt LaFleur said Watson is not playing Sunday, Blaze. Yeah, if he's on press conference right now and he just said that, I fully believe it. I fully believe it because I didn't expect him to either. He's limited. He's going to be limited all week, but I think the earliest, what I thought, when I saw Watson practicing, the earliest I thought was Arizona, and that's still early. Like, they could hold him out until Pittsburgh, the Monday night game against Aaron Rodgers. They could definitely hold him out till that. I'm fine with that. We don't need to rush Christian Watson back. We know... we've had horror stories with the ACL, injuries, players getting back, like David Bakhtiari, of course. So you don't want to rush a player back. The Packers are going to be cautious there. Everyone else on this list, outside of Wyatt, Watson, Rasheed, Belton, they should play. Like, Zach Tom should play in this game, and I really hope he does, because if he doesn't, then we're going to be really, really, really thin at tackle, and I don't know what we're going to do. So I think Zach Tom is going to play. All right, let's get back into this. We have Trey Hendrickson at edge. So Banks is back then? I think he is. Yeah, Drew, I think he is. Let me get this off the screen real quick. Yeah, I think he is. So Trey Hendrickson, we know how good he can be. Obviously, was a trade candidate for the Green Bay Packers earlier this offseason, and we ended up with a better option in Micah Parsons, a younger option in Micah Parsons, but Trey is still damn good at rushing the quarterback. Pass rush grade, 8th out of 99, a 90.3 grade. Overall, an 86.5 grade. TJ Slayton is graded low, but PFF always grades him low. And he was number 1 in run-stop win rate last year for the Green Bay Packers, and he still wasn't a high-graded player. He actually graded lower last year, a 43.0, but yet he had the highest run-stop win rate in the NFL last year. So take this with a grain of salt, this grade, because TJ Slayton sure does know how to stop the run. He's a good nose tackle, gap-filling player. We know this, right? It would be nice to have him right now, if I'm being honest. But we know he can do good in the run game. On the other side, we have B.J. Hill, who's middle of the pack, 66th out of 120 and via PFF grade. And we got Shamar Stewart, who actually interviewed pre-draft in Green Bay. Asked him about the potential of being drafted to the Green Bay Packers. Kind of happy that didn't happen. Now we got Matthew Golden. Shamar had that whole contract holdout situation. Does he have any sacks or anything? Let's see. Because his lack of production was one of the main things people wanted to stay away from. Okay, he's 3 pressures and no sacks. He's only played in the first 2 games. The first game, wow, played really well, but second wasn't good. So I guess he's been hurt. Yeah, I think he has been hurt, right? Yes, ankle injury. So he'll return this week, limited all week. Yeah, he'll return this week. All right. As for the linebackers, they have Demetrius Knight Jr., a second-round pick out of this year's draft, has been abysmal against the run, a 33.2 grade. Overall, hasn't been graded well as a rookie linebacker. That tends to happen. Oh, yeah, Drew, I forgot Lucas Patrick is on their team, too. God, they are like Green Bay AFC. That's crazy. 46.0 grade for Knight here. They have Logan Wilson on the inside, who run defense, slightly below average. Defensive grade, slightly below average. Coverage grade, pretty poor. Not great linebacker play by Cincinnati here. Not great. And I think they're the worst against tight ends. So, Tracy, you make a good point. Tuck needs 100 targets against these linebackers. I think statistically they are the worst against tight ends. So, Tucker Kraft, big time game coming for Tucker Kraft, especially if, Oren Burks is sitting there. On the back end, we have Geno Stone at safety. He was someone that I wanted the Packers to maybe target a couple years ago when he was leaving Baltimore. He's been okay, 66.1 grade, coverage grade 60.4, good run defense, really good there. And then they also have Jordan Battle on the other side, another safety that I really liked coming out of the 2023 draft out of Alabama, 66.0 defensive grade, coverage grade 60.8, 73.1. Both safeties, you're like, okay. Like they're solid, they're average, they're above average, right? Like they're solid back there, but not any that you're like, oh man, got to watch out for that guy, like an Xavier McKinney or a Kirby Joseph or someone like that sort. They don't really have that guy. I would say in the backfield, the defensive backfield, the one guy that is kind of that guy is Dax Hill. Like you do gotta be aware where he's at, because I believe he plays nickel. When they come out in nickel, they do. Yeah, so he comes out into the nickel, Dax Hill, and I think he's been pretty good this year. I think he has I feel like he has an interception. I'm pretty sure he does. But on the outsides, not great. Not great. DJ Turner the second, horrible against the run. Coverage grade 64.2. It's okay. And then you have Cam Taylor-Britt, who across the board below average grades, 55.9. Defensive grade 55.1. Coverage grade. So yeah. There's nothing on this defense that makes me go like, wow, we got to watch out for that. And the Packers should find success against this defense. They really, really should. Jordan Love has been cooking, for lack of better words, this season. 70% completion rate, 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception, 113 quarterback rating. And the running game. Here's the thing. The Cincinnati Bengals defense is the 3rd worst in terms of yards allowed per game. They're the 4th worst in terms of pass yards per game allowed. They're the 8th worst in terms of run yards per game allowed. So they're bottom 3rd, bottom 4th even of the league in every aspect defensively. The Packers at home should not have an issue moving the football. And if they do, there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. As for the Packers offense, we can see this offensive line. This is probably the first time in a long time going into week 6 I've ever looked at the Packers O-line and not a single person has a grade over 60. That is alarming. That is definitely alarming. We know this Packers football team, for as long as I can remember, were built on having good offensive lines. And that just simply hasn't been the case the past few weeks. And the grades have really showed that as well. Rasheed Walker, below average. Aaron Banks, barely played, but when he has, terrible grade, 38.3. Elton Jenkins, he's been serviceable at center. Better than Josh Myers. Yeah. Great. No. Sean Ryan, below average, 53.5, and he's played below average. Zach Tom, I can't really give him, too much flack for this grade. He had an oblique injury. I think if he was playing all the way up to this point, he'd probably have a positive or above 80 grade, and then we'd actually have someone over 60. But hopefully he can come back, lock up this side. But it is Trey Hendrickson that mainly plays on the left side against our left tackle, and that could be Jordan Morgan this week. We'll see how today's practice. Let me know in the chat if Matt LaFleur has said anything on Rasheed Walker yet, because I know his press conference. If anyone sees anything on that, just let me know. Packers receivers, Tay Wicks, Romeo Doubs, Matthew Golden. That's going to be the way it goes this season, as there's no Christian Watson. Jaden Reed obviously still out with injury, sprinkling some Malik Heath here and there, but mainly it's going to be Doubs, Wicks, Golden, moving, guys around, having different guys play slot like Golden, Doubs, Wicks. Any of them can do it. I want to see, honestly, if you look at like right now, the top receivers in the league, you have a lot of slot wide receivers. And I kind of want Matt LaFleur to really lean into that, scheming the slot wide receiver open, kind of like a Jackson Smith and Jigba over in Seattle, and do that with Matthew Golden, because I think he can. And I really want Matt LaFleur to really lean into that. I think that'd be great. We talked about Jordan Love already, and Josh Jacobs at a 76.1, the 10th graded running back. Even though it hasn't gone too hot, it's still the 10th graded running back. And when this O-line starts to figure some things out, run blocking, man, Josh Jacobs will be off to the races. All right, let's flip it over. Packers defense, Bengals offense. We'll start with the Packers defense. Why not? Micah Parsons, the second highest graded edge defender in the NFL through the first 5 weeks. And he's still up there in pressure. I think he leads the league in pressures per pass rush rep, even though he's played one less game than pretty much everyone else around him, which is that crazy, right? Micah Parsons has been insane. He's had the number 1 pass rush grade, second overall defensive grade. Run defense has been slightly above average, kind of what we expected. It's not going to be terrible, but it's not going to be his forte for sure. Rashawn Gary on the other side, at one point a couple weeks ago, was leading the league in sacks at 4.5. Hasn't had one since. I think it's only been one game, but you get what I'm saying. Rashawn Gary didn't record a pressure against the Cowboys. We need him to step up in this game against this abysmal O-line. Just to give you a little sneak peek there of how bad it is. It's worse than the Packers. On the inside, we have Devontae Wyatt, who's not going to be playing in this game, so expect this to be Carl Brooks, but expect Warren Brinson to be active in this game. He hasn't been active, I believe, all year. Maybe he was week 1. I can't recall. But he's been inactive in favor of Nazir Stackhouse. I think with Devontae Wyatt, both will be active in this game. Stackhouse, Brinson, maybe even call someone up. We'll see. Colby Wooden has been playing nose tackle for us, swapping in and out with Nazir Stackhouse. But yeah, I think Brinson's going to be active. I think Carl Brooks is going to play the spot, but they're going to have a heavy rotation there for that defensive line. At corners, we have Nate Hobbs and Keyshawn Nixon. Now, they didn't have a great game, that's for sure, against the Dallas Cowboys, but Dak Prescott has statistically been playing at the highest level of all quarterbacks in 2025 in terms of EPA. He is number 1, and it's not close. So Dak has been having a wonderful season. He also did a really good job at, getting the ball out quickly, managing the pressure, managing the rush. Now, Joe Flacco does get the ball out quickly, but he's not great at managing the rush. He's not going to be able to move around too much. Tracy says, why not slide LVN inside for most of this game? Hey, I'm for it. I think we are going to see more LVN inside in this game. He played 3 tech, 5 tech at Iowa. He's done it. He's a versatile guy. He's also played it for us in certain fronts. So yeah, I think you're right, Tracy. That's a good point. I do think that we'll see more LVN on the inside. Get your 4 best guys out there. Obviously, don't shut your run game down, but your run defense game down, but they can't run the ball anyways. So it's like, get your guys out there that are going to make plays, and LVN is one of them. Like, I would argue LVN's going to make a play over someone like Carl Brooks, depending on the situation, but, you got to get your guys out there. So I agree with that statement. I think they will kick him inside a little bit more in this game. But Nixon and Hobbs, outside of last game, they were playing at a high level, and you're going against good receivers last game, but also the Packers are playing pretty soft zone against the Cowboys and allowing George Pickens to just have a free release and run a post route against a cover 3 zone. It's going to happen. Now, one thing is, although I didn't like cover 3 against the Cowboys, the one thing that's been shutting down the Bengals offense is cover 3. And it makes sense. You have T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. You don't want your cornerbacks to be playing up. You want your cornerbacks to be playing back a little bit, right? A little outside zone, outside leverage, deep third, and have a safety over the middle. That makes sense against Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And cover 3 has been shutting down the Bengals. So I think they're going to, and the Packers run a lot of cover 3. And I think they're going to continue it in this game, and even more so run more cover 3. And it should work. It should work. On the back end, Xavier McKinney, surprisingly a 60.1 grade. Need more out of him. And early on, it was kind of like, okay, defense is playing so well, he doesn't have to do much. But against the Cowboys, man, I saw him out of position multiple times. But also, Jeff Hafley has to do a better job at putting Xavier McKinney in positions to succeed. In the Dallas game, all too often, I saw him dropping X into the box to be a rusher, come around the edge, and then they left Evan back at single high, having to be that rangy guy. And one of the 9 routes to Pickens, Evan kind of made a play on it, but Pickens still made a hell of a catch, where it's like Xavier McKinney is the guy with the range. He needs to be the single back. He needs to be the guy that can go sideline to sideline in the snap of a finger. No discredit to Ev Will. Like, tremendous safety. And this guy's having a hell of a year too. But you got to have Ev Will up near the line, rushing the quarterback. That's his forte, right? And he can still play deep. But X has got to be your single high. And I don't like that Half keeps moving him up and leaving Ev back there single high. I don't like that. I think X has got to be that guy and put him in the position that we saw last year of him flying around, creating interceptions. The Packers have the second lowest amount of takeaways. Like, the Jets have 0, the Packers have 2. It's not that far off. We need to create more takeaways as well. Mentioned Evan Williams having a solid season, 73.1, really good run defense grade. And that's my point, man. Move him up. Look at his run defense grade, 80.2. Move him into the box. Move him into the box. Let's move it into nickel. We see Javon Bullard. There we go. So we see Carl Brooks. We could see him as well. He's always kind of graded low via PFF. He's a good pass rusher. He's just very, very poor against the run. So hopefully we have a plan for that, hey, if Brooks is going to be out there on early downs because the lack of Wyatt, kind of need to have a plan for that. Even though the Bengals can't run, you can't just give it to them, right? At linebackers, Edgerrin Cooper, Quay Walker, need a bounce back game from Edge. I feel like in that Dallas game, missing a lot of tackles. He needs to wrap up. He's fine in the run lanes well. He just needs to wrap up. And Quay Walker, he's been solid. He's been above average. And Javon Bullard in the nickel, I don't think this grade reflects how he's been playing. I've liked what I've seen from Javon Bullard in the nickel, especially against the run around the line of scrimmage. Like, when they're running bubble screens or anything, like, Javon Bullard is in that. Like, he's the one, blowing that play up consistently. And I don't see how he has a 39.8 run defense grade, but, it is what it is. Now for the Bengals offense. This is, you live and die by Jamar Chase, and most of the time it's going to be die because there's nothing else going. We talked about Flacco. Chase Brown. First off, let me show you this real quick. This is a pass protection ratings composite. So this takes PFF, SIS, I don't know what that is, ESPN scores, and combines them all and averages it out, right? So like the Denver Broncos, a 98 score. Best offensive line in the NFL, right? The Green Bay Packers, 20th best. I'd say that's fair. Weeks 1 and 2, they looked really good. Since then, they haven't. So I would put them the bottom half of the league. I'm fine with that right now, right? So you'd agree with that. At least I would. Then we scroll all the way down, and when we play the Bengals when we play the Browns with Joe Flacco, what flavor rain do I got? It's always rainbow sherbet. Come on now. We ain't playing around. Always, every time. When we played the Browns with Flacco, they have a poor offensive line. We knew that. They're second worst, 18, right? The Bengals are quite literally half of that at 9. They have an ESPN score of 0. 0. It's bad. So PFF grade takes 40%. SIS blown block percentage is 40% of the score, and ESPN pass block win rate is 20% of the score. I guess ESPN pass block win rate is 0 for the Bengals. If we don't end up with 5 sacks, I'm going to be annoyed. Like, yes, Flacco gets rid of the ball quickly, but there's going to be situations where he's not going to get rid of the ball in 1 second. There's going to be third and long situations. There's going to be second and long situations. We need to absolutely crush Joe Flacco in the pocket. If we do that, I have high confidence the Bengals will score like 10 points. I have high confidence. Look at the run block and pass block composite ratings, right? The Packers, below half. Below half. You know, run blocking is on this bottom axis, this y-axis here, and they're below. Pass blocking, this x-axis here, they're below, right? Look at the Bengals. Like, I don't think you could go farther into this corner. I don't think you could go farther in this corner. Yeah, Drew said, would love to see someone jump a route if Flacco dinks and dunks. That's the same thing, dude. So, like, the Packers are going to come out in a lot of cover 3 because you got to respect Jamar Chase, but I still think we should pressure a little bit. Like, if it's a second or third and 7, like, get up, get your hands on, maybe bracket coverage Chase, get a safety over there, bracket him, right? Get everyone else up, get your hands on the receivers, make Joe Flacco make a play. That's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. And I hope Jeff Hafley agrees. All right. Bengals offense. Oh, it switched for me. Go there. Right? Cool. Bengals offense. Flacco, Chase Brown hasn't been good running the football. They're the worst run offense. They have 57 yards per game rushing. That's it. That's not just Chase Brown. That's their team. That's their whole team. They're not good at running the football. And Chase Brown hasn't been that great either. As for the receivers, T. Higgins, we know how good he can be. Jamar Chase, we know how great he can be. So you got to have wraps on those guys. You got to have eyes on those guys. Andre Yoshivas, he's been solid. He's a solid receiver. I like him as like a change of pace type of wide receiver. Drew Sample at tight end, very low grade, very low run block, offensive grade 42.7. As for the Bengals offensive line, like we talked about, it's not good. It's not good. We have Orlando Brown Jr. at the left side. Pass block grade, lower grade here, 52.8. Overall, below average, 57.4. Run block, below average. Dylan Fairchild, the third-round pick out of Georgia this year, has been one of the worst run blocking guards in the NFL, a 41.9. Offensive grade, 45.1. At center, we have Ted Karras, a 49.8 offensive grade. Pass block grade, 57.3. Run block grade, 50.3. I haven't seen a single grade above 60, run or pass block. Nope, not yet. It ain't going to change with Jalen Rivers, who 27.9 pass block grade. He's 74th out of 78 guards overall, a 43.3 offensive grade. It's bad, guys. It's bad. Amarius Smith, not a single lineman has a grade, run or pass, above 60, and you can see why these composite grades, pass blocking, run blocking, are as low as they show via PFF, ESPN, whatever metric you look at. You may not agree with PFF, you may not agree with these grades, but they're real. They are real because every other platform agrees with that. The Bengals O-line has been atrocious. It's been atrocious. Pass block 55.0, run block 51.9. It's bad. It's really, really bad. And if the Packers, even without Devontae Wyatt, somehow don't find success rushing the passer, there's something seriously, seriously wrong. Because we have Micah freaking Parsons, Rashawn Gary. We still have Colby Wooden, Carl Brooks. LVN can slide in the inside, right? Tracy, LVN will eat from the inside this game. Against these guards and center, he should. Like on a third down, 3rd and 7, kick LVN inside right over the shoulder of Jalen Rivers and say, go to work. Like, that shouldn't be a problem. Or Dylan Fairchild. He's a little bit better in the pass game. No matter. It really doesn't matter. LVN, kick him inside. Give him some opportunity to rush the passer with Gary and Parsons also on the field. Edgerrin Cooper coming A-gap maybe on a linebacker pressure. And don't allow them the free pocket or the free time to find Jamar Chase on a 3rd and 7. No. Send 5 to 6 players and say, Joe Flacco, make a throw against us. we're going to lock you up, or at least we're going to get a defender with hands on Chase, try to reroute him a little bit, maybe bracket coverage over the top. We're going to rush 5 or 6 and say, Joe Flacco, throw a dime against us. That's what you have to play it like. You shouldn't just sit back in coverage on 3rd and 7 and go, okay, we believe in our back end of our defense, which I get that you do. But why? Why even give the opportunity? The longer you have to cover, the more chance Jamar Chase breaks open. And there's a high chance that guy can get open against single coverage, even double coverage. There is a high chance of that. So don't give him the time to do so. Pressure the hell out of Joe Flacco and win this damn football game. It seems simple, but obviously losing to the Browns, tying to the Cowboys, it has that sour taste in our mouth where we're like, are the Packers going to do what they should do against the Bengals? Should they absolutely go out there and wipe the floor with them? Yes, they should. It shouldn't be close. Like when we were looking at the Lions-Bengals matchup last week on NFC North Roundtable, everyone agreed like they're going to smoke them. It's going to be like 50-12. And it wasn't that drastic, but you know, that should be the same mindset going into this game. Like the Packers should smoke them. They should wipe the floor with the Cincinnati Bengals, and it really shouldn't be close. It's at home. It's in Green Bay against Joe Flacco, who just arrived in Cincinnati like 3 days ago, and he's not much better than Jake Browning, and they don't have a run game, and their defense is atrocious, and their offensive line is the worst in the NFL. It shouldn't be that bad. Somehow 49% of the money is on the money line for the Bengals. See, that's why I'm worried. That is why I'm worried, man. Now, 92% of the bets are on the Packers, so that kind of shows that. 51% of the money. But, man, the Packers are minus 1,160. Jesus. Oh, my gosh. But, yeah, it shouldn't be hard, guys. It shouldn't be hard. It really, really shouldn't. But be on the lookout for the final injury report of Week 6. We'll have all the injury designations. I'll put out a video. It'll be around 4 p.m. Eastern, so definitely check that out. A reminder to go check out the merch store. I'm going to post it in the chat yet again if it loads. There we go. If you guys want to check out the merch, I'm hyped for this. I feel like we got a lot of cool designs. Very affordable prices in terms of merchandise comparative to, you go to a concert and you're like, what? Like, what are these prices? That's what I don't want. I want, these things to be affordable and for you guys to have cool designs to be able to rock on game day or out wherever you're going. And you can rock a Thank You Jerry hoodie. Like, why wouldn't you want to rock that to the grocery store? Like, that would be awesome, right? Yeah. Definitely have people looking, that's for sure. There's a lot of cool designs. So if you want to check it out, simply, check it out. There's coffee mugs, phone cases. I can even add more stuff. If you have a request for an item, like I want a long sleeve of the Jaden Reed, just let me know. I'll add it to the market. I can add things very, very quickly. So just message me on Twitter if you want something else or with a design on something else. Just let me know. I'll do it for you guys. No problem. And like I said, I'm going to get some ordered and then do free giveaways for you guys. So you guys can have a chance at getting some of these items for absolutely free. But I really appreciate you guys, stopping by, checking out the merch store, of course, and of course the game preview. But yeah, that about does it for Week 6 game preview. Packers versus any fitted hats. Okay, Tracy, I will add fitted. I think the one is like more of a clasp style in the back. I'll make sure to add some fitted ones for you. I'll add them on there shortly, so just be on the lookout for that. But yeah, really appreciate you guys coming by to the game preview. I will be live this Sunday for the game. It's at 4:25 Eastern, so I'll be live like 15 minutes before the kickoff. Final injury report later today. And let's get into it, man. Let's go 3-1-1. Jay Sav says socks. I got you on that. I'll add some Thank You Jerry socks and some other things. I got you on that. Don't worry about it. I'll add them. But appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for coming by. Hit the like button on your way out. Supports the channel a ton. If you stopped on by and you haven't subscribed yet, or maybe you don't even realize you haven't subscribed yet, go down, hit the subscribe button. It helps support the channel a ton. You won't regret it. Everything Green Bay Packers here, year long. You'll find everything you need, news-wise, analysis, updates, everything here, Green Bay Packers. So really appreciate you guys coming by. I'll catch you on the next one. And as always, go Pack, go.